ﷺ prescribed us using the Basmala and prescribed for us to use Allahumma. Now, some of these will be familiar to you as viewers, Muslims, which you're already using, and a number of them may not be familiar. But in any case, what we're looking at right now is how do we put this name, Allah, in our day-to-day lives. Of course, the goal behind it is to be more and more conscious of Allah in this name. It becomes a form of remembrance of Allah, which is the appropriate form that we spoke about before, not the inappropriate form where we take the name Allah and we repeat it, like a person who has lost his mind, he's just babbling, Allah, 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 Allah. No. We said already this is not the way. It is a deviant and misguided way. It was not done by Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessing be upon him, nor by his companions. And surely, if they didn't do it, then it must not be the way. Because if we are to claim that this is a valid way of remembering Allah, and Prophet Muhammad ﷺ didn't do it, what in fact are we saying? But that we have found something that he didn't have, or that he knew it and he hid it from his followers. Whereas Aisha reported that he left us on a clear plain. تَرَكْتُكُمْ عَلَى مَحَجَّةٍ بَيْضَةٍ لَيْلُهَا كَنَهَارِهَا لَا يَزِيغُ عَنْهَا إِلَّا هَالِكٌ. That's what he told us. That I left you on a clear white plain, whose day is like its night. Anyone who deviates from that plain, from that clarity, destroys himself. So, as I said, we'll be looking at a few of the daily recommended basmalas, Allahummas, which the Prophet ﷺ recommended for us. The idea being to put these in our daily lives, to use them as frequently as we can. The first one that we'll be looking at is one which was related by Abu Bakr, the closest companion to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the first caliph after him. He asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what should he say in the morning and in the evening? He asked him to give him a supplication which he could use in the morning and in the evening. And the supplication which the Prophet ﷺ gave him was none other than a supplication beginning with Allahumma, O Allah. This is the best that the Prophet ﷺ had to give him. He told him to say, Allahumma alim al-ghaybi wa-shahada, fatir al-samawati wal-ard, rabba kulli shay'in wa malika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, a'udhu bika min sharri nafsi wa min sharri ash-shaytani wa shirki. O Allah, knower of the unseen and the visible, creator of the heavens and the earth, Lord and the owner of everything, I testify that there is none worthy of worship but you. I seek refuge in you from the evil of my soul and the evil of Satan and his idolatry. This was the dua which Prophet Muhammad ﷺ gave based on the special request of Abu Bakr. It begins with, Allahumma alim al-ghaybi wa shahada. O Allah, knower of the unseen and the visible. So, this is a dua which we should try to learn and to put it in our daily lives. It's in the early morning, because the Prophet ﷺ said to say it when you get up in the morning, and in the evening. And he also recommended that it be said even before going to sleep at night. The next supplication is one which everybody knows, basically, that before we eat, we should say Bismillah. And this is in a hadith which was narrated by Aisha radiallahu anha, that she quoted the Prophet ﷺ as saying, إِذَا أَكَلَ أَحَدُكُمْ طَعَامًا فَلْيَقُلْ Bismillah. If any one of you eats, he should mention the name of Allah. He should say Bismillah. Now this is very simple, Bismillah. And Allah, in His mercy, had His Prophet guide us to this very simple supplication, which, when done with regards to the food that we eat, and we eat regularly, at least 3 times a day, we turn that act of eating, which is normally a mundane physical act to feed our systems, our bodies, keep ourselves alive and functioning. He gave us a simple formula which, when said, turns that simple act of eating into an act of worship. And this is something unique in Islam among the world religions, that we worship Allah while we eat. That act of eating itself becomes an act of worship of Allah. But of course, it is to say Bismillah, but also to be sure that what we're eating is halal. Because of course, if what we're eating is haram, we're going to be shy to say Bismillah before it. As a Muslim, one would feel shy to say Bismillah and eat something which was haram or drink something which was haram. So it is a kind of a reminder for us also that if we can't say Bismillah before what we're eating, then we know we're off. We're off the track. We need to get ourselves back in line. So on one hand, the food itself or drink that we're taking should be halal, and also it should have been earned by a halal way for this act of eating then to become an act of worship. The other point that should be kept in mind, the other point, is that when we eat, to keep it as an act of worship, we should also eat moderately. Because Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had said, the believer eats as if he has only one stomach, whereas the disbeliever eats as if he has 7. Believer should therefore eat moderately. And he said that we should eat 1/3, drink 1/3, and leave 1/3 for breathing. So, as he said, the worst container that a person can fill is one stomach. So a believer eats moderately, he doesn't overeat, controls what he eats, he makes sure what he eats is halal, that is permissible among the things which Allah has made permissible, and at the same time he says Bismillah, he calls Allah, uses Allah's name before he begins to eat. And with that, dear viewers, we've come to the end of our program. So, inshallah, we'll see you in the coming program where we'll continue to look at a variety of other recommended supplications which the Prophet ﷺ gave us to put Allah in our day-to-day lives. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
When you are weak and the road seems long, remember, just remember,